Well, hey there, everybody. This is Kendra here, President and CEO of the Busy Women Corporation. And I just want to jump on today because, one, it has been a long time since I've done a video. Things have just been so busy, and I do mean busy with an E because I have been running around doing all kinds of things, but everything that I've been doing has been purposeful, has been intentional, and I have been being very mindful of my own limitations and just being prayerful about everything that I've been engaging in. So, like I said, things have been busy for real. And this week is no exception. We're going into a very busy weekend. And even though I have been very intentional with what I've been engaging in, I've been prayerful, I've been making sure I'm getting enough rest, making sure that I'm well trying to eat right. But there are certain things I just love, and they are not included in what's considered a healthy diet. But even though I've been doing all those things over the past few weeks, so I'll say even past few months, I have disappointed a few people. I had my own disappointments. Um, and just like even this week, there are just so many delays that are coming at me and so many last minute changes and obstacles. And it just seems like it's one thing after another. And this week, I have felt especially pressed. And the closer we get to the weekend, I feel like there's more pressure, like I'm being squeezed. And I was tempted to get so frustrated. And then I remembered the book that I had read, The Obstacle is the Way. It's right here. And so it dawned on me, one, that there are so many things in this book that I had, as you can see, I have all kinds of post-it notes because this is a library book. And so I couldn't highlight. So I have all these post-it notes where I'm going through and writing down things that I want to remember. But also, too, I never did do the review of this book. So I thought, you know what? Let me pause on all the things that I'm doing today and get this video done because there are some things in this book that are helping me even just get through the rest of this week and get through this weekend. And it reminds me of one of my favorite verses in the Bible. So, first thing I want to do is read the verse in the Bible because, as I mentioned, these past few months have just been so busy and hectic. And there's been just like one trial after another, one test after another, one delay after another, one last minute change after another. And anybody who knows me knows I don't deal well with like last minute changes, especially to a plan that I made. I carefully curate my schedules and my plans, and I have everything neatly tucked in the time spot that it belongs in. But as we all know, life does not fit into our schedules. That doesn't stop me from trying. I keep doing it. But life happens. And so, what a verse that I'm always reminding myself of is John chapter 16, verse 33, where, and I'm going to start with verse 31 because here Jesus is talking to his disciples about when he is going to leave them. And it says, "Do you now believe?" Jesus replied, "A time is coming, and in fact has come, where you will be scattered, each to your own home. You will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for my Father is with me." And here's verse 33. "I have told you these things so that in me you will have peace." Well, I pointed myself, not me, in Jesus. "In me you will have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." I keep stumbling, and I read this verse all the time. But the point here is that Jesus is telling his disciples that he is going to leave them. In this world, though, they are going to have tribulations, but he's letting them know that they will have, in him, they will have peace. And I believe he's saying the same thing to us. We are going to have troubles in this world. We are going to have delays. We're going to have denials. We're going to have disappointments. We're going to disappoint people. We're even going to disappoint people that we love, and our loved ones are going to disappoint us. That's part of life. We're going to have things happen to us that cause us pain. And before I go any further, I don't ever want to sound like I'm minimizing pain, especially those unexplainable tragedies, death in the families, things like that, because there's no verse that can help me understand those tragedies. I just have to lean into the fact that Christ is my peace in those moments. So I don't ever want to minimize anybody's pain. But in these situations like this, where it's just things are messing with my schedule, things are messing with my head because there are changes being made and things like that, I just have to remind myself that Christ is my peace, right? And he came and he overcame the world, so I can have peace in those times of tribulation. And he can be our peace even in the hardest situations. But I don't want to minimize that for anybody here. Okay. So in the book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And the tagline is The Timeless Art of Turning Trials into Triumph. This book was so good. This was my 24-hour read for January. And all while I was reading this book, John 16:33 is just coming to my head. It's just coming to my head because this book gives you so many examples of where people didn't allow the obstacle to deter them from the thing that they were created to do. And sometimes the obstacle may cause you to detour. It may cause you to pause. But that thing that God put in you to do will come to pass. And just because you face an obstacle, it does not mean that you're headed in the wrong direction. Sometimes the obstacle is the way. It helps you to build that perseverance so that you can go on to that next leg of your journey. And so the two sections that I want to read that relate to this week that have really just helped to calm my mind and help me to remember that, life happens, God's got me, and I will be fine. So this is on page 26. I keep saying because this video was not planned. As you can see, I have on my husband's old Nautica shirt that he let me have a long time ago. I did decide to just throw on some earrings for y'all, some lipstick and eyebrows, so I look kind of presentable. But I'm not taking my hat off because my head is cold. Anyway, so I'm going to stumble a lot. But the point is, the obstacle is the way. And on page 26, he says, regardless of how much danger we're in, stress puts us at the potential whim of our baser, fearful, instinctual reactions. Don't think for a second that grace and poise and serenity are the soft attributes of some aristocrat. Ultimately, nerve is a matter of defiance and control. Like, I refuse to acknowledge that. I don't agree to be intimidated. I resist the temptation to declare this a failure. But nerve is also a matter of acceptance. Well, I guess it's on me then. I don't have the luxury of being shaken up about this or replaying close calls in my head. I'm too busy and too many people are counting on me. Defiance and acceptance come together well in the following principle. There is always a countermove, always an escape or a way through. So there is no reason to get worked up. No one said it would be easy. And of course, the stakes are high, but the path is there for those ready to take it. This is what we've got to do. And we know that it's going to be tough, maybe even scary, but we're ready for that. We're collected and serious and aren't going to be frightened off. This means preparing for the realities of our situation, steadying our nerves so we can throw our best at it, steeling ourselves, shaking off the bad stuff as it happens, and soldiering on, staring straight ahead as though nothing has happened. Because, as you now realize, it's true. If your nerve holds, then nothing really did happen. Our perception made sure it was nothing of consequence. So what this is saying, and this was in the chapter called Steady Your Nerves, is that a lot of times an obstacle will come. There may be it could be a meeting gets canceled, right? And so now that was going to throw up your plans. Why? Because you had this meeting planned. You probably did your preparation, your presentation, all these things, and the meeting falls through. That could mean the loss of a business deal. It could mean the loss of, if you're meeting with a counselor or something, you may have been revved up to just pour your heart out to that counselor. And so in your mind, that is a devastating occurrence. Oh my gosh, how can they cancel this meeting? Oh my gosh, how can they not approve this thing? Oh my gosh. So in our mind, we get ourselves so worked up, at least I do, get myself so worked up. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing in the world. How am I ever going to get through this? But if you dial it back a few minutes, just a little bit, just dial it back just a little, you'll realize it's not the end of the world. Okay, the meeting got canceled. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to schedule another one. And if they don't want to reschedule, guess what? We'll find somebody else to meet with. There's always, like he said, there is always a counter move, always an escape or a way through. So there's no reason to get worked up. So that has really been helping me this week. And then the next one, which is on page 30, and this is in the chapter called Control Your Emotions. Y'all know I've been working on that. He says, you can always remind yourself, I am in control, not my emotions. I see what's really going on here. I'm not going to get excited or upset. We defeat our emotions with logic, or at least that's the idea. Logic is questions and statements. With enough of them, we get to the root causes, which are always easier to deal with. And here's an example he gave. We lost money. Well, aren't losses a pretty common part of business? Excuse me. Yes. Are those losses catastrophic? Not necessarily. So this is not really totally unexpected, is it? How could that be so bad? Why are you all worked up over something that is at least occasionally supposed to happen? To which you usually respond, well, you start stumbling around, right? And not only that, but you've dealt with worse situations than this. Wouldn't you be better off applying some of that resourcefulness rather than anger? Try having that conversation with yourself and see how those extreme emotions hold up. They won't last long. Trust that. After all, you're probably not going to die from any of this. It might help to say it over and over again whenever you feel the anxiety beginning to come on. I'm not going to die from this. I'm not going to die from this. I'm not going to die from this. I have been doing that. Or try Marcus's question. Does what happened keep you from acting with justice, generosity, self-control, sanity, prudence, honesty, humility, or straightforwardness? The answer is nope. Then get back to work. Subconsciously, we should be constantly asking ourselves this question: do I need to freak out about this? I ask myself that question a lot. And the answer, like it is for the astronauts, for soldiers, for doctors, and for so many other professionals, must be no, because I practice for the situation and I can control myself. Or no, because I caught myself and I am able to realize that that doesn't add anything constructive. So some of y'all are my Facebook friends, and so y'all may have seen a little meme that I posted on Facebook at one point where I posted that it was, I think it was like SpongeBob and Patrick running around crazy, and something happened. And so I'm running around panicking, like the sky's falling. And God is like working on the situation and asked me, like, why am I panicking? And I was like, well, I thought that was my job. And I honestly, it sounds stupid, but I honestly panicked like it was my job to panic. Like, that's my contribution to solving the problem, is to panic. And so when I realized that I don't have to panic, like that is, it takes so much energy to panic, so much mental strength to panic. And that energy and strength can be put towards something constructive. So when I realized that, I talked to my husband about it and I was like, I don't have to panic. And it's so funny because not even a week after I told him that, a situation came up and I'm in my office and I am just like pacing around. I am all on the internet, like scrambling, trying to figure stuff out. And he came in, he looked at me, he was like, you panicking again, aren't you? Because here's the thing, we don't have to panic, we don't have to freak out, but that doesn't mean we won't. So that's why I like that second question, which is, yeah, I caught myself and I realized that I can put that energy towards something more constructive. So the point I'm making here is, I've gone way around the world here, is one, crap happens. Y'all don't like crap, I'm sorry. But I say it all the time. It does. Life happens, bad things happen, delays happen, disappointments happen. It's just a part of life. And so when I think about it in that way, when I think about the fact that we are all human beings who are flawed, doing the best that we can, then when somebody disappoints me or a delay happens, I'm able to put that in a perspective that reminds me this is not the end of the world. Excuse me. And this kind of should be expected. Like, delays happen. They just do. Whenever you're working on a big project, something's going to go wrong. It just does, because none of us are perfect. But we can have peace because Christ is our peace. He came, he overcame the world, so that in the face of tribulation, we can still have peace. And when Christ is our peace, we're able to still our minds and still our souls and still our hearts so that we can stay focused on the goal that God has for us. But when we get freaked out and we panic, we start reacting to things. And I don't know about y'all, but when I just start reacting to things out of anger and fear, I tend to make situations worse. So over these past few months, and this is another video that's going to be coming soon. I'm just working out some more of the notes. I am going to do a video just on the journey of this past year of responding to things and instead of reacting to things, and calming my internal self, because I can look very calm when I'm not. Most people can. I mean, we all can do that, right? But I wanted to be as calm on the inside as I am on the outside sometimes. Now, sometimes I am just visibly upset and I can't help that. That's just what my face does. But the point is, I'm going to be talking about that because it is a journey of getting there closest with God so that when things happen, you are still, you are steady, you are firm in Him. My mama used to sing this song, and then I gotta end this up, wrap this up. But my mom used to sing this song. Well, I'm gonna have to sing it because I don't know how to say it without singing it, and I can't sing. So y'all can go on and put all your jokes in the comments. That's fine. But it goes, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like the tree that's planted by the waters. I shall not be moved. And it goes on and on, but I'm not gonna sing it all. But she sang that song all while we were little. She sings it now. And I never really thought about the words of the song. We've talked about it a lot, because when it was a Bible song, Christian song, she would sing it, we would have a discussion. And as I got older and life started happening, I started understanding more what that song means and started experiencing more what that song means. And I have not experienced that stillness, that immovability, I guess, is that a word? Well, it is. I don't know. Immovability, we'll say. As much in my life as I have this past year. And the reason is because I am so focused on hearing God's voice that even as I'm hearing contrary thoughts or contrary comments from others, or just, things that can take me off the path that I believe God has put in my heart, I am able to be still in those moments of tribulation, in those moments where my path may seem like a disappointment to someone else, or my path may feel like I'm not moving as fast as I should be. It's just that steadiness, right? And you can only have that steadiness and that definitiveness of direction when you are staying in close relationship with God. And so that's why Jesus was able to say to the disciples that you will have peace. He said it. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. And you can only have that peace through Christ, right? And so when you have that peace in Christ, I gotta finish this book review too. Then you realize that the obstacle can still be the way. The obstacle will not deter you from your path. The obstacle will not deter you from accomplishing that main goal. But for me, I cannot overcome any obstacle without Christ. I cannot continue along the path without Christ, because it's only in Him that I have the peace that it will take for me to continue to push through, to continue to be still in my heart and in my mind and my soul when obstacles come at me. So I think I'm just rambling right now. But so this is a twofold video. This was the book review of The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And just a reminder that in this life, we are absolutely going to have tribulations. Things are going to happen. You hear me? And they're going to happen often. But we can still have peace through Christ. And when we remember that, we won't get so worked up that we're now distracted from the thing that God has put in our hearts to do. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. My next book is Itinium. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm saying this before I do this. So the picture will be right here somewhere. All right. But That's going to be my next book that I read in 24 hours for this month. But if you take away nothing else from this video, please remember that in this life, we will have tribulation, but in Christ, we will have peace. All right, till next time, stay busy.